thank you so much for making time to join us again for today's edition. Now, what the papers are saying brings you the big stories for the week, and we'll look at all the angles around those stories and the way forward. When we come back, I'll take you through the big stories for this week. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. You're welcome back to what the papers are saying. My name is Vivian Kailoko. So let me take you through the big stories for the week. We'll start with the aftermath of the Gyakye Quayson swearing in, and let's see what has happened around that time and matters arising. Let's start with the Daily Graphic. They say Gyakye Quayson sworn in as MP. The Chronicle says Osadeo Ajiman Bedu jumps into lion's den. Attorney General, Majority Leader Okudzeto criticized him over call to drop Gyakye Quayson's case. The Ghanaian publisher, AG cautions against foul comments. The Republic Press, AG rubbishes Domahine's pleas. Boga MP takes another oath. The Chronicle says NDC MPs plot to boycott Parliament. The New Publisher, Judge wants Quayson freed, calls Akufo-Addo an AG. We go to City Newsroom. Quayson's application for stay, Akufo-Addo's audio played in court. Still in at City Newsroom, stop persecuting members, NDC to government. Commentary on high-profile criminal cases exceeding limits of free speech, AG warns. This is still on citynewsroom.com. And then finally on citynewsroom.com, minority MPs boycott Parliament to support Ato Forson Gyakye Quayson in court. We move away from that story. We go to another pretty troubling story to do with food suppliers now picketing the Buffer Stock Company over unpaid debt. Let's see how that story was covered this week and the angles around that story. We start with the Ghanaian Times. They say NAFSA members spent 2 nights picketing at NAFCO, demand payment of 270 million cedis owed them. City Newsroom, Buffer Stock Company to hold crunch meeting over debt owed food suppliers. Still with City Newsroom, 2 free SHS food suppliers taken ill during picketing at Buffer Stock Company. And finally, with our story, SHS food suppliers picket at NAFCO. So we'll move away from that story, and some great story coming in this week, the commissioning of the newly renovated Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. Let's see how the various news outlets captured that story. We start with the Daily Graphic. Akufo-Addo resurrects Nkrumah, renovates Memorial Park. Ghanaian Times, President inaugurates new Nkrumah Mausoleum, $3.5 million funded redeveloped park equipped with facilities. The Finder, magnificent Nkrumah Park opens, projected to attract over 1 million tourists each year. The New Publisher, Nkrumah's family falls in love with Akufo-Addo over the Nkrumah Memorial Park. The Informer says historic July as Akufo-Addo honors Nkrumah and Mills. City Newsroom, Memorial Park renovation, a tourism ploy, not out of respect for Nkrumah, CPP speaking over there. And finally, at City Newsroom, 29-year-old architect speaks on inspiration behind refurbished Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. And the final story to do with justice being served for the killers of Akua Denta, who was killed over allegations that she was a witch. So Daily Guide says Kafaba witch killers jailed 24 years. Daily Graphic, 2 women jailed 24 years for killing 90-year-old woman. Sydney Newsroom, Soso welcomes 12-year sentence handed Ikea dentist killers. And then finally on that story, Gonja Council hails 12-year jail terms for Ikea dentist killers. So those are the big stories for the week. Let me introduce to you my guests for today who will help us dissect the stories, look at the various angles we've seen, and bring some more interesting analysis around the angles. I have with me the editor-in-chief of the Herald newspaper, Larry Alansdogbe. Larry, welcome back.
Thank you.
And then I have Salom Adonu, who is here with us at City FM and City TV, and at night, a lawyer. Salom, welcome.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you for joining us again, and welcome. Okay, if you permit me to, I will start with the Gyakye Quayson story, because today, which is Thursday, we saw the minority boycotting proceedings in solidarity for Gyakye Quayson, as well as Atu Forson and other matters around the legal issues that their members have been held to court. So let's start with that, Salom, because it's around the legalities and all that. Over their threat, they've gone ahead with their threat to boycotted proceedings, and all of them were in court in support of their friend or their colleague.
Yes, quite interesting that things have traveled this far. But even before that, the election of Gyakye Quayson actually precipitated all of these. I'm not sure how the situation would have been if he had lost that election.
Yeah.
Maybe the things would have been very different. I don't know who would have been pushing and who would have been pulling the brakes. But prior to just after the election, we heard a lot of voices coming up. Very prominent among those voices was the Domahini, or Siadio Ajimanbedu II, who was very forthright in urging the Attorney General to enter nolle prosequi in respect of the criminal matter against Gyakye Quayson. So just for information purposes, Gyakye Quayson.
The comments that are coming.
Yes. Okay. So a lot of the comments really are based on what we call the nolle prosequi. Just to say quickly before we come in. So it's a facility by the Attorney General that he uses to discontinue cases. And the thing about nolle prosequi is you don't need to give a reason for entering nolle prosequi. You don't have to justify it. You can just say that you are discontinuing the case. And sometimes they do so and they rearrest the person, for various reasons. But the judge cannot stop you from entering a nolle prosequi. You are the chief prosecutor of the state. So what you think is appropriate is what you do. Yeah. So you initiate prosecutions and you can discontinue the prosecutions, often based on several factors. Maybe because you think you don't have enough to prosecute the case, and it could be due to other reasons. Indeed, Justice Emisa at some point said that the entry of nolle prosequi is a political decision, and you are not. It's not subject to any review. So that is the call generally. The Attorney General has the power to do so. That is a call that many people have made, but I think we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But the decision of the minority to solidarize with their colleague, it's part of the whole advocacy, and it's part of the whole movement to, I don't want to say force the hand or push the hand of the Attorney General in entering a nolle prosequi or entering or discontinuing the case against one of their colleagues. They have always been of the view that the man did nothing wrong. Yeah. At the time he filed his nomination, in his mind, it was clear to him that he owed allegiance to nobody because he had begun the renunciation process. And had it not been COVID and how it stalled a lot of things in the world, he would have had his renunciation certificate. Yeah. So they do not think that he perjured himself or he lied to anybody or he deceived anybody, because in his mind, he was not a Canadian citizen, even though he did not have the certificate to prove at that point. That is something that the court will have to look at. In proving their charge beyond reasonable doubt, they will have to deal with that. In proving criminal cases, we have two critical elements that must, come together. We have what we call the mens rea, which is the guilty mind or the intention to do the bad thing. And the second one is what we call the actus reus, which is, performing the activity. Okay. So you can perform an activity, but without the requisite intention to do it, you may not, it may not be deemed criminal, So intent is a very important part of criminal proceedings. So the question is, did he have the intention to deceive a public officer, or to forge a document, or to do what the charges, the offenses slapped, or the charges slapped against him, say he did? That would be something that the prosecution will have to look at. My difficulty, of course, the support by the minority at some point was expected. But my difficulty with that is that we are expanding the ambit of that solidarity and extending it to other persons who are on trial. So, for example, the case of Atuforsin was also mentioned, Collins Dauda, Opuni, and all those guys. The danger we face is that these cases are already deemed political, but the situation around Gyekye Quayson will deepen that perception, because now when they are moving in favor of Gyekye Quayson, they will add all these other ones, and persons who have allegiance or who have interest in those other cases will also fuel it, so it becomes a whole big thing, so that when people see or people think that Gyekye Quayson is being persecuted, I mean, not as people have said, not prosecuted, they will add the others to it and say this is government, going after its enemies, and it will no more appear like government going after wrongdoers. And I think that is what we must be mindful of. All these things matter in a certain way. In doing so, the Attorney General at some point may be forced to enter the another procedure they are calling for. Do
you think he will budge? I mean, we'll come to that.
Yes, it depends. For now, his public, should I say, posturing doesn't appear so. Yeah. But I mean, man past man, as we say. If of course the Constitution gives him that independence, and Article 88 is the chief prosecutor. He initiates criminal and civil proceedings, etc. But if his boss calls him that, no, this is making us unpopular.
But his boss has warned Gyekye Quayson's constituents that the man they are voting for, if he wins, will be serving in jail.
Well, people change their minds. I mean, somebody said it's only a fool who doesn't change their mind. I will not be surprised if there's a change of mind. In all of this, there is pressure. Yeah. In fact, a big man, a big chief somewhere can pick a phone and call them and say, I think this should take this direction. This should be this way. I think you need to think about it again. Depending on who calls and who persuades, I mean, things could change. I'm not saying that should happen, but the question was whether I think it could happen. I will not say no, but for now, given the public comments from the Attorney General and even the President, etc., it will be difficult, but it will not be impossible. I'll not be surprised if it so happens.
Okay. We'll come to the comments we've heard and seen being made around whether this case should be dropped or not. But, Larry, let me pick your thoughts on the minority boycotting proceedings. Now, they go to Parliament to make the laws. The courts are trying to, implement the laws. Why take your anger on the courts who are just doing their job in this matter?
Good evening to our viewers. This is quite a very delicate matter to comment on without a risk of being contempt of whichever court. I feel that the minority listed some cases and made the point that why does it appear that you are only going after NDC, past officials? And so they cited Dr. Opuni, they cited, Atuforsin, they cited Collins Dauda, and then cited somebody else. Okay, Quayson. Okay, Quayson hadn't been, exactly. Yeah. But then there's also the case of Ofosu Ampofo and all others. I think that what is giving rise to all this, what we have, I mean, tension so-called, is the commentary that comes from the Attorney General shortly after some of these cases. I mean,
why so? What
I
does
don't know
he
whether
say
you
that?
I don't know whether you've observed him, but from this program, henceforth, watch him. Immediately after court, anytime he appears in court, I mean, he has media people waiting for him. He's granting an interview.
Which is not out of place.
But it's always
It's always been that
No,
way.
but listen, I have followed a lot of these criminal cases. I followed Chachu Chikate's trial. I followed Dana Budapi's trial. I followed Kwame Pepra and Ibrahim Adam's trial, and so on.
You've been at this for long.
Oh yes, I mean, I've been in this place for quite some time. People think I just came, yeah, but I've been here for some time.
So you are saying previous AGs were not commenting?
were not that
But the same
media.
people who 2 weeks ago were hitting at OSP for not being forthright with some of these things. You should tell us how things the commenter. And
No.
now AG is
okay,
what do we want?
Is he issued a statement that in the case of the OSP.
comments,
Yes,
yeah.
he was issuing a statement. I think that he issued a statement and then he leaves it to us for us to do whatever debate we were. In that particular discussion, we were talking specifically about the
BCU and
and
the
others.
former environment
Yes.
minister.
But in this particular case, you have the AG,
Inform.
yes, appearing in court. And soon after appearing in court, he faces cameras. Soon after appearing in court, he's facing the cameras.
Okay.
He went to London and during one of the town hall meetings, and specifically mentioned Dr. Opuni's name as a corrupt, as his case being that of corruption, and that, I mean, Opuni had spent some monies here and there and so on, and that the prosecution is going on. I think he even suggested that, I mean, he'll be jailed, in that particular instance. But I'm saying that his commentaries are becoming one too many.
Okay.
In the case of Opuni again, he described the Justice Jima's ruling that said that the case should start afresh as a backward case. As a backward ruling. I mean, you don't do that. Like I said, I have followed Aiko too as Attorney General. He wouldn't come out of court and come and face the cameras.
Yeah, everybody's style is different.
I have followed, what's his name? Papa Uswankuma. He wouldn't do that. Papa Uswankuma, for the period that he took over from Akufo-Addo, never even stepped, I think, in the courtroom. He allowed the DPP, what's his name, Gertrude Akins, was doing the prosecution all through. Okay? And then I followed
Gatti.
Yeah, Joe Gatti. Joe Gatti appeared in court a few times, but he stayed away from the media stuff. But this particular gentleman, Dami, oh man, he enjoys the cameras. He enjoys the microphone. When you do that, you create this situation. Okay? Listen, there's so much tension in town. There's so much tension in town, and we need to, de-escalate. And the politicians need to be seen uniting at the top. But if every now and then this is what you do, and you only appear in court on just, high-profile political cases, that is the impression you are giving. How come you are not appearing for, in the case of NAM1, in the case of the murder of this gentleman? Swale. Okay, Swale, I don't think Swale is there a case on trial?
I think so.
Okay, how about Major Mahama?
But they'll get to judgment soon.
No, I'm saying appearing in court. I'm not talking about judgment. Appearing in court, just as you're appearing in the case of Jachi Kwesi, you're appearing in the case of Dr. Opuni, you're appearing in the case of Collins Dauda, and many others. That is the impression he is giving. It is the body language. The president also talking about it, fuels it. You put judges in a very tight corner, when even if their ruling is conk, people will read meanings into it. That it's because the president had said so. It's because the Attorney General was constantly, in the courtroom. Okay, you give the kind of... I think there's so much tension. Ghanaians are...
Do you think everybody should stay away with commentary on the Gyakye Quayson, case and leave the courts to do their work.
Yes.
We've had quite a number of comments. Ayikwe Otu has spoken, Domahini has spoken, the president himself has spoken on this, and Katie Hammond, quite a number of, high-profile people.
So how come the president can speak about it? The Attorney General himself can describe some of this, can also be facing the cameras each and every now and then, but then others can talk about it. You talk, somebody replies. That is where we are. Hello? Yes, when you talk, somebody will reply. But now he turns around and he's issuing a statement that people should stop talking. Has he stopped talking?
No, but when it comes from court, he will explain to.
I have been in the courtroom a few times, and I've heard Obo Obisa, who is the DPP. I've also Kilson, and many others. They don't face the cameras or microphone
but these people, maybe these people are
listen, Dami and I know each other quite well.
Yes. But Dami is a politician.
Dami and I know each other quite well. He enjoys the cameras. He enjoys the microphone. Tell him.
It's always been like that.
That's good for us media people.
But you see, sometimes then you leave an impression, as we are having now, where Parliament or the minority will have to boycott Parliament. It's not good for our democracy. See, I live with the impression that the kind of Parliament we have now, it's a test of our democracy. Okay? We have a hung Parliament. We should just have left it like that. So that we can use this also to test our democracy. We could also get to a point where we could have a party A as, occupying the presidency and party B having majority in parliament. That is what the Ghanaians voted for. In many advanced democracies, some of these things have been witnessed. And it rather helped in what? Solidifying the democracy. But then Ghana, we are having to go hunting for seats. I mean, a court makes a decision. The next morning we are doing by-election. The following day, roads are being, repaired. AstroTurfs are being constructed. Hospitals are being announced. I mean, what kind of a joke have we reduced ourselves to?
Okay, let's look at we have to look at the comments. You feel that everybody should stay away,
yes,
including the
stay away.
But whilst we are waiting for them to stay away, let's interrogate what they've been, asking or hoping that is done. Let's start with the Domahini. A lot of people, Salom, you are the lawyer, are saying he's a High Court judge. He shouldn't have said what he said. Should have stayed off as well, and his comments were inappropriate. Was it out of place that he made those comments?
Well, I've appeared before him.
Considering that he's he's a person.
I've appeared before him as a judge in Tema a few times. I mean, he's quite a forthright judge, to say the truth. He's quite forthright and he speaks his mind. And if you recall, he's the chief who has been in some running battles with the Asante over, some jurisdiction
and all that,
around the Bono area and Ashanti and all of that. So that is the kind of person he is. I'm not sure he is a person who fears so much. He is able to speak his mind, and he addresses matters he thinks he has to address. Many have said that he spoke in his capacity as a chief and not as a judge. Others too have said that he should be cited, or he should be called by the Judicial Council for disciplinary, purposes, or he should be invited to the disciplinary committee. Others have said also that he has not breached any of the professional code of conduct or any rules of ethics, as we call them. And so there is no point. What the rules said in my casual look at it is about the case being before you. Others have argued that the case being before you could be stretched to mean that, you are a High Court judge and the case is before the High Court. And indeed, we have just one High Court at different locations. I think he made the comment in a political. It was an Atta Mills event.
Yeah.
So maybe a lecture of a political figure, and given the charged nature of the environment and how members of that particular, subculture or group or political party, were in a jubilant mood soon after the election of Gyakye Quayson. I think that also affected it. But take nothing away from him. He's been a lawyer for many years. He's a judge. He's a chief. He sees a lot of things. Maybe the way he put it, you can have an issue with it. But I don't think anything stopped him from making a call that, given ABC, in his view, he thinks things should have been this way. He was speaking as a chief, as a father of many people, the father of the Bono region. I think he was, or he is the president of the regional House of Chiefs, and a whole lot of things. So, yes, you can decide to say he shouldn't have said so, or he could have said so. But I think the lines are quite thin. If you're speaking in his capacity as a judge, then that will obviously be a problem. But where do you really draw the line? It's a very thin line, because when he appears, people see him as a judge, others see him as a chief. But that is a very delicate line to thread. So he said that. After he said that, so he said he was urging the Attorney General and the President or the Executive to, as a matter of urgency, enter nolle prosequi or discontinue the matter because the people have voted for him. My difficulty with part of his statement is that because the people have voted for him. What does that mean? Does it mean that if somebody is standing trial for something criminal and the person, for some reason, wins an election, by virtue of winning the election, the state should discontinue, the action against the person? I think he didn't come out quite well on that. And so, he didn't come out quite well on that. Maybe he got lost in the excitement of the program, and so he couldn't really dilate on that. But I don't think that should be the case. You could say that in this particular instance, or maybe because he was speaking about this specific case, maybe we need to put some context around it. So maybe I'll grant him that. But I think he could have dilated on it a bit more, so that the confusion about, entering nolle prosequi should be because he won an election and has nothing to do with anything. That I think could have been better.
Do you disagree with Ayikwe Otu's statement?
There were features of the call. Yeah. One, highly political call in a highly political case, all right? And like I said earlier, nolle prosequi itself is a political decision. So this call is coming in a highly political, case. Number two, the political nature of the context, also is making people make the political analysis, the electoral fortune analysis. Yeah. So Ayikwe Otu, for example, says that, are we not going back to Asin North in December 2024, hoping to win the election? The president won the presidency in that constituency. For some reason, as the president himself said, skirt and blouse and a baby. Then Gyekye Quayson won. Are you going back to the people in 2024 to campaign there? So Ayikwe Otu's call was purely on an electoral fortune, basis, and you can't fault him for saying so because he's a politician. And mind you, he's been an Attorney General before. Number three, the call was made by highly, like the Attorney General himself said, persons, of very considerable standing in the legal profession. And when persons like that speak, you don't want to discount it easily. You want to look at what they are saying, especially as 2 or 3 of your predecessors have said similar things. Barretta Brew, Apiopon, said a similar thing, but that you can see because he belongs to the party of Gyekye Quayson. Yeah. But Ayikwe Otu, who was Attorney General and a member of your party, a diplomat for that matter, saw it differently. You don't just wish it away. Martin Amidu, being the third person, has also made some comments. Yeah. He didn't openly come out to say, go and enter nolle prosequi, but he disagreed with the commentary and position of the Attorney General in the manner he was trying to stop people from commenting on the matter. He even thought that it was pushing people, or what he was trying to do was against the constitutional right of freedom of speech, So and all of that. Okay. All these people made their comments because they felt that the way the state was managing the case and handling the matter was quite unfair and it was selective. Why so? This gentleman is standing an election. Of all the cases, why should Attorney General go to court to pray the court to have a daily trial when the man has an election, the following week? What is that supposed to mean? And that in itself is not the way that things run normally. We have 1,001 criminal cases, some also high profile. Yeah. What I know is sometimes the courts will devote 2 days, maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays. That Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 2 or from 12 to 2, we are dealing with this. So every Tuesdays and Thursdays, we want to do this no matter what. So put this in your calendar for expeditious trial. But to say a daily trial, when the man has an election to contest the week, the next week, and given the charged nature of this particular case and what implication that has on the numbers in Parliament, etc., I thought that process could have been handled way better. And it was quite unnecessary to make that prayer to the court for the court that the court should consider sitting on the matter on a daily basis. And you know what? That particular call has been appealed. And since then, nothing has really happened in respect to the case. There's been one application after the other. There's been an application to stay proceedings. There's been an appeal filed in respect of that decision. And nothing has happened. And now the decision, the stay of proceedings decision will be made on the 11th. If they are not happy with it, I'm sure they will go. So nothing is really happening.
Okay. I have to take a quick break. When I come, I'll let Alan respond to the various comments we've had coming in from the Ayikwe Otus to the AG himself, as well as to the Doma. And so let me take a quick break. We'll be right back. It's what the papers are saying.
Get ready to witness a remarkable fair to showcase the rich diversity, talent, innovation, and mastery of made in Ghana products and services with the This is Ghana Exhibition 2023. City TV and City FM will allow you to immerse yourself in a vibrant showcase of authentic Ghanaian products and services in the biggest trade fair and exhibition for local SMEs, startups, research and manufacturing industries, homegrown businesses, and indigenous corporate bodies Ghana has ever seen. We shall promote, support, and patronize various Ghanaian products, solutions, and services that are redefining the views on indigenous products and their packaging across all sectors. Join us at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly on the 26th and the 27th of August 2023 at 10 a.m. through till 5 p.m. each day. Call us now on 0205-973-973 for inquiries on how to participate. The This is Ghana exhibition is powered by City TV and City FM and proudly sponsored by MTN Momo.
You're welcome back to what the papers are saying. My name is Vivian Kai Loko. I'm here with Selim Adonu as well as Larry Alasdogbe. We're looking at the Gyakye Quayson story and matters arising from that. Larry, I'll allow you to make your points.
Yeah, let me share a story with you about, let's say, some 8 years ago, Martin J. Kosa? Exactly. Sued the Herald for defamation over a story with it. And the case was put before Justice Mensah. Okay. Now, the Doma Hene. Okay. I didn't know he was the one. We went to court, and guess what? The judge was begging myself and Mensah Kosa to go and sort this thing
out of court.
And what? He was ready to even pay the legal fees of both lawyers.
Why was he pushing?
No, he thought that we were too young to be involved in such an acrimonious, situation. Okay? And was ready. You should have been in court. David Anna was my lawyer at the time. And then Egbert Fibble was the lawyer for Martin, who is now the deputy minister for, is it local government?
Yeah. And Egbert Fibble is the CEO of
Petroleum Commission. And this judge was begging. Said, listen, you guys go and sort out yourself. And then after that, come and report to us.
So what happened?
We couldn't agree on a lot of things. But subsequently, then we went to report to him. He said, listen, go back. And then on the next agenda day, come and tell me something positive. And with all that admonition, we went out, and then things were sorted out. Okay? So, for me, this is not the first time that he's been up to this. This is just my personal experience. I'm sure there are others who have had encounters with him and might give you pleasant stories about him. Now, what is the benefit of this trial? The Gyakye Quayson case. What is the benefit of it? Where would he go to?
Protecting the law.
Yeah.
Protecting which law?
The laws of Ghana.
Okay, so, I mean, as I keep saying, there's so much, we have a lot of headache. Pensioners are, yes, okay, and then individual bondholders are also out there. One of the
suppliers,
exactly,
School feeding.
School
supplies.
Yeah.
Food supplies.
And all we are doing is to be.
No, but are you suggesting that crime shouldn't be punished? It's to protect us.
There are issues.
Enforce the law.
No, you are a lawyer.
Yes.
And I know when you see crime, you know what crime is.
But the law is clear.
And when you see,
but people say that
politics,
people say that if the case is discontinued, you are setting a precedent for others to also keep doing the wrong thing. I mean, of course, it's not being found guilty or not, but based on what his charges are.
You see, you can do this case without all the tension, without all, like you said, without all the, the everyday trial thing when we had other criminal cases to deal with. Okay, so it's your posturing around the case that gives suggestions to what people are doing, where we have parliaments now, being the trouble that it is. I think that, listen, we are one people. See, in my practice of journalism, sometimes I touch stories, and guess what? It's about MPP people. Mm-hmm. And the NDC guys come begging for the MPP guys. And the same way, vice versa. We are one people. At the top, there is some, a late consensus. That happens, but down there, then they set you up and you guys are fighting down there. I mean, what is the benefit of this? What is the benefit of this? And you see, the president issued a statement after the election congratulating Gyakye Quayson. I thought that he could have taken advantage of that to say that, listen, I have instructed my attorney general to just let this case go. Okay? That would have been the most striking thing or most profound thing the president would, could have done. But because of the comments that he made in there and how people are going to read politics into it, whichever way this case goes, okay, people are going to read politics into it. Already, his voice is being played in the courtroom. I mean, the president's voice was today played in the courtroom.
Oh, really?
Yes, by Mr. Tsatsu Tsikata. And again, the attorney general was there, gun blazing. Okay, so I thought that with all what is happening, with all the commentary that happened in Asin North, the president, he could say that, listen, Dami, let's file nolle prosequi, because this thing will not inure to anybody's benefit. Where is it going? Are we retrieving some money from Gyakye Quayson? Chief, you are the lawyer.
No, but the law.
The law is the law.
There is enforcement.
No, but the law, you see,
but it shouldn't be money necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody does a wrong thing and you punish the person, you may not necessarily be getting any money from the person. But
okay,
the sanctity
let's
of the
assume that he did something wrong. Okay, I mean, for now we can only assume it's an allegation.
Yes.
But you see, the commentary around the whole thing. Okay, first of all, the daily trial from the Attorney General's department. The president's comment on that same matter. That, listen, the person you guys are going to vote for, that is where
no, but others
is.
also say that the president was responding to Mohammed's statement. The president was responding to Mohammed's statement, and that even if he's in jail, we'll vote for him and he will do the work. So the president said, if he's in jail, or that if he has here, how can he do the work?
You see, the president.
So if you look at it in context, it was a direct response to Mahama. If he's in jail, how does he do the work? Because you said even if he's in jail, you vote for him. And that Nkrumah even was in jail. The two situations are different.
Need I point to you the difference between the president and then the opposition leader?
Oh.
They are two separate people. Now, Mimali.
I'm the one asking the question.
No, they are two separate people. The president, I mean, he just appointed the Chief Justice. Okay? And he's appointed some judges, High Court judges, Court of Appeal judges, and so on. So he has the power. And it is that with that power, you don't go running commentary like that. Okay,
No, but
the opposition leader can talk the way he wants to.
It was a question to the opposition leader.
Eh?
It was a question to the opposition
Did he
leader.
mention the opposition leader?
No, he was responding to. He said Obi said, like he was speaking to. He said somebody has said, and that somebody was Mahama, because Mahama had made comments to that effect. Okay, so his point was that if he's in prison, how does he do the work?
Salom.
So
Salom.
one MP, Marco, he caught the same. Do they want to continue court matters?
Guys, let's move on to...
Court in Semunkwa, your Attorney General, your appointee.
Court of Appeal.
Court in Semunkwa, your Attorney General, your appointee is the one who every day carries books and he's in the courtroom prosecuting the guy, saying, now listen, let's do this thing on a daily basis. That is where we are. That is what we are dealing with.
But on a more serious note, I think the daily trial thing didn't help matters. The daily trial thing didn't help matters because.
But the president's commentary is good.
It fed into an already prejudiced mind of the society that you were in to get this guy, and just when that was happening, the matter of the Oponim case also came. And
the transfer of the judge.
And coincidentally, the judge who said he could not deal with the record as it was because he wanted to observe the demeanor and everything of the witnesses before him also came up, and he for some reason got transferred. I think all of those matters, it could be coincidental, but I don't think it does or it did the judiciary a lot of good. So, for example, we'll go on legal vacation by the end of this month. I don't know what necessitated a transfer, but perhaps he could have been transferred so he resumes when the legal vacation is over. Legal vacation is on the 31st of July, okay? And then we resume in October. He could start from his new station when the new year begins.
I'm told he is one of the best judges you have in town. Have you appeared before him before?
Yes, a few times. It's one of the. He actually taught me.
What's your impression of him?
No, he actually taught me.
I hear he swept a lot of awards
at
the faculty and then the law school.
He was either the best or one of the best in his year group. I mean, he's a fantastic teacher and a fantastic judge. One of the very good judges, knows his stuff, and one of the authorities on immovable property or land law. And indeed, on the 21st of July, he is launching his book on immovable property. Maybe Herald should be there.
Herald should come
I think I want to be there.
Some free content.
I think I want to be there.
So I think that also didn't help the matters. Because so now you have the Opuni case, also another charged matter, and this Jechi Kwesi matter happening, and the two of them with issues coming around the same time. Yeah. It only expands, the perception that the executive
is manipulating,
is controlling, or is having a hand in what the judiciary is doing, which may not be the case.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
But I do recall that when the new Chief Justice appeared before the vetting committee, I mean, these issues of manipulation of the judiciary by the executive came up extensively. Yeah, she sought to,
Yeah, but you see, we don't have any evidence to show that the executive is manipulating the judiciary. We also don't know why Justice Jima is being transferred. We don't know that. The Chief Justice has a dual role, as he has an administrative role and the role of a judicial officer when she's sitting. Empaneling judges and doing this transfer and all those things are administrative duties. You cannot say that
she have waited for
but we don't know the full
for
facts.
the Court of Appeal decision on the same matter.
For all you know, it was a decision taken already. And it so happened that when it was communicated to him, this also came. So we do not have the full facts. So I think it will not serve them right if you say, or if you have to suggest
I think we have to leave
the
it at that.
executive is controlling it.
Let's leave this story at that to see how it pans out. But let's move to another very sad one. Food suppliers, they've been picketing. Today's the third day, trying to get monies owed and pay them. This evening, which is Thursday, the Agric Minister was there around 7, urging them or appealing to them to rescind their decision to continue the picketing, and they will ensure that at least by tomorrow some proper discussions are made and their monies will start working on them. Let me start with you, Larry, because you have a mischievous laughter. Well, what's making you? This is a serious matter. You saw the videos of women crying, there are people chasing them and all that, sleeping there, mosquitoes this weather, raining season.
I don't know why. Sorry, I don't know why they also decided to be there, because they are the bondholders and others to learn from. Okay, sorry. They are the bondholders, there.
But Dr. Edwana is making some way, with
they were told. And then the caterers. The school feeding caterers also, to learn from. I mean, the last time they went, those in Kumasi. So I don't know why they are out there.
But at least
they should be careful. I have 2 of them are already in hospital because they fell ill.
Yeah.
But are we suggesting that they fell ill because they went there?
No, I mean, so they are sleeping outside.
Yeah,
sleeping
outside
at the vagaries of the weather.
But people sleep outside.
And then, being fed on by mosquitoes. I mean,
I think they wanted to move it a notch higher from what the bondholders were doing. Let's see what we are dealing with now. This is not fair.
Stella comes to so Larry composes his song. Larry sings this.
No, I think it's unfortunate. I think it's very unfortunate that persons you had contractual arrangements with, are treated this way. You owe them, engage them. And when you engage them, engage them and let them feel that, you empathize with their situation. Yeah. And government owes them, they say, around 270 million. Mm-hmm. They've stopped, supplying. Yeah. But government still has people it pays to supply them. Yeah. It creates a certain impression that you don't care about the debt you owe them. They've engaged you many times. They don't hear anything. And the guys now have come to the place to picket and to sleep there. They were there for the first day, the first night, second day, second night, and no official of the buffer stock company, according to what they told us yesterday.
We were told they were outside
yes, nobody had come to tell them anything. Nobody had come to tell them anything. They just go, they sleep there, do it. Nobody had come to talk to them, to empathize with them at least, that the system is hard, we are under IMF, the COVID, and all the reasons we've been giving. So things will be well. Or let's let your leaders come, let's have a conversation. Let's do this, let's structure it this way. I mean, they are human beings. If you talk to them, you give them hope, they will understand. Everybody knows things are tough. You leave them to sleep there. And I was even wondering, how were they, attending to nature's call? Because how were they attending to nature's call?
I think they go somewhere.
The area is a very quiet area. So, and I'm not sure there's any public toilet. There's nothing in that area like that. How were they dealing with all of that? And I'm not sure they left the doors of the organization open
for them.
They will lock it, especially as the people are there, because you are not sure what they can do. So they will lock it and lock it again so that nobody enters the place. So it is not appropriate. It is not correct. And I'm surprised that we did not have anybody from the education ministry going there to talk to them. Yeah. Even the finance ministry to talk to them. And it has to take the Agric minister to go there.
The finance ministry, they won't get that.
He's a minister of state. Agric, they supply food, etc. Yeah. But the food, they have a deal with the finance ministry. And the education ministry. Buffer stock will not talk. Buffer stock will not talk to them. Their chief executive and their deputies, nobody will talk to them.
Now they issued a statement.
So they issued a very empty statement.
Yeah.
Which said nothing. And that statement is belated. That statement should have come earlier, and they needed to put a face to it. Go talk to the people. Go talk to them and encourage them. Assure them. They will understand.
No, but the initial story was that they were spoken to when they first tried to do
because
they've
been pushing this for
They were
weeks.
told that the chief executive of the Buffer store had traveled to Mecca, and that when he comes back, he was going to ensure that they were going to be.
But is he back?
The man comes back.
Well, we are told he's out
and
of Accra.
He's now out of Accra.
Yes.
He comes back and he has never spoken to
But
them.
does he put the organization in his pocket? The organization has other officers.
Can run with
No,
that.
maybe, I mean, by their organogram, he's the guy at the top who can only come down.
You see, Larry, the thing
But
is
for
that
me, I'm
it
comfortable.
appears that, the only language authorities these days,
Demonstrations and
listen to
picketing.
is demonstration. So we have the pensioner bondholders.
Bondholders,
We've not dealt with them. We've not resolved the matter. You have the individual bondholders also,
Coming up next
threatening
week.
to do the same
Yeah.
thing. You've had the school feeding caterers who went to picket and stay at the
You had the
yeah,
contractors who
and
picketing.
it shouldn't be. Engage the people.
Yeah.
You don't have to leave it to the last end. These people didn't have to sleep there. They are not beggars. They are business people. People you've had contractual dealings with.
But is there
if
money available?
No, but you see,
the reality of this.
there may not be money, but the way you deal with the situation will let people understand. But who said there is no money? If they need money for things which are important, they will find money.
Because bondholders still not pay them.
If
Individuals still
they
not
need money for
contractors.
things which are
As
important, they will find
enough,
money.
we
And
got money.
Are we still not, supplying foodstuffs to people? How about you pay them so that there's some revolving, you pay them, you get them to supply so that at least they are coming and they are working.
Yeah.
You leave them out entirely and you're not dealing with a different group. That is not correct. That cannot be fair.
But isn't that always the case with the planting for the Green Ghana thing? There are a lot of them who haven't been, and they have gone to contract
it's
new
wrong.
people.
We do not need to do that.
Becoming too much.
We do not need to do that, and it doesn't repose confidence in dealing with the state. It's not correct.
Larry,
Yeah.
are you ready to speak now?
No, I think I've spoken enough, because, what's there to say? We've seen the IPPs, saying that they have not been paid. Okay, meanwhile, the cost of fuel and the fact that, Russia and Ukraine war had escalated the prices of crude oil, for which reason Ghanaians had to pay more money for electricity. Only for us to discover that these monies were not going to them. And that they are owed over $1 billion. Then they wanted to stage a demonstration by switching off the generators. Quickly, some miracle happens, and then that didn't come on. But you see, for them, that is the tool they had to put up the generators, and then we all go, into doom. So these caterers would also, the tools available to them was to stop cooking. The suppliers will also stop supplying. The bondholders, they will be at the finance ministry. You get it. Like you said, the Green Ghana project people. Your channel gave them a lot of, a lot of space, and they kept venting their spleen, but nobody was ready to listen to anyone. And these are just the one, and then the contractors as well. Okay, you tell us that there's no money, but when there's by-election, suddenly somebody finds money, and you're out there constructing roads, constructing this, constructing that. You don't boost confidence in the people. Okay? By the time you get to pay them, or they are paid, or the state pays them, some of them contracted loans. You can imagine their collaterals and so on that is gone away. Some even fall ill in the process and die out of, all manner of stress. I think the president has to say something. He hasn't spoken about the bondholders. He hasn't spoken about a lot of things he hasn't spoken about. Even in the case of the IPPs, he said he was going to keep the power. Sorry, the power
Sure,
on.
the power is always on.
And hours after saying that, then the IPPs, come out and say that, Charlie, we haven't been paid, though. And nobody is explaining anything to anybody.
Okay, gentlemen, our time is up. Thank you very much. Stella Madonu here with us at City FM and City TV, and Larry Alansdobe, the editor-in-chief for Herald newspaper. My name is Vivian Kai Loko. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye.